just got this bottle in. It's the new Still Austin, what used to be called their High Rye, 7-year-old. Mainly found at the distillery. I know there's a few places that do have it, but I know it's not going to hit my area because they are very limited and getting limited each year a little bit more, so making it harder and harder to grab these. Is this getting better with age? Is this worth that hunt? Is this worth going maybe to the distillery to go pick up? Well, only one way to find out. Let's go. Welcome back to Old Fashioned Ways. I'm Doc Martinez, and today we're going to be trying this. I'm not going to do it as just a review. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to blind it. I'm going to blind it against the younger versions or the ones that came out the year before. Now, the fun thing about that is, here's the first year, 2023 when it first came out. Here's 2024 when it first came out. Well, unfortunately, that was my only bottle, and I don't have any samples of it. Let me be comparing the 2023 year when it was like a 4 or 5-year-old to the 2025 year, which states a 7-year-old. So this one on here states it was 6, so it was 6 years old when it entered this one. But unfortunately, I don't have any to compete today. But when this first came out this year, this was actually my favorite pour of the Bottle and Bond series that year, beating out the Blue Corn that year. Last year, the Blue Corn beat out this, but just by a little bit. So apparently, I enjoyed it and shared it a little too much because I don't have a sample of it, but that's okay. All right, so let's move these to the side here and bring out the pours. Now, I have it poured 2 pours, as I said, competing one to the other. I don't know which one's which, but let's just go in for it. Let's see. I'm going for this one on my left first. Ooh, that's just such a good smell. I realized early on I like high rise. And at that time, that's when I didn't like rise yet. So I was kind of shying away from them. But then when I started trying them, I realized I do like high rise. Apparently, I like a lot of Nancy Fairley high rise because I love her Still Austin. And I also like her Whiskey Tree high rye as well. Great on the nose. Smells nice and sweet and caramel. Just so much goodness in that. All right, let's see this one. This one's actually a little bit spicier. A little bit less on the nose. But still sweet. You get orange zest with these as well. But if I were to pick one over the other right now, just on aroma, this is the one I'm going to say has more on the nose, more to offer on the nose. All right, for the fun part, let's go in for that first sip. My first sip of the day. Ooh, tiny bit spicy, caramel, a little tannicky, sweetness, baking, like baking spices on that as well. Just overall yumminess. Yummy, yummy. All right, let's go in for this one. Less sweet, but actually hit the tongue a little bit better, but since that's also my second pour, it might be just that. I'll go back and kind of go back and forth for a little while before I say that. But on the tongue, it kind of hit the tongue a little bit more. Spicy, orange, caramel, just not as tannicky either. So here I go. I'm going to taste both of them a little bit more. Nice, buttery. Yeah, so, okay, now going back and forth. I think it was just because it was the second drink. This one's more on the tongue, fills the roof of my mouth, making me salivate. Ooh, salivation coming out through. I just said that, and man, it just started salivating a lot more. A lot of those nice textures in the mouth. Nice finish so far as well. Really nice pour. I'm gonna go over this side. So, just off taste, I'm guessing, and I could be completely wrong. I think this is the 7-year. A little bit less on mouthfeel, a little bit less on overall just hit me flavors that finish. When I go back and forth, this one just seems, even though it's still a really good pour, still pour I take day in, day out, it's a little bit less on the tongue, a little bit less on the palate, but still a good pour. I could sit there and sip that. I was going for this one. All right. So there is a difference. They both are great. I just sip on either one of these. This one beats this one today on my palate. So let's see who the winner is. Ooh, I'm surprised. I was wrong. So this is the one that, I shouldn't say older. This is the one that came out in 2023. This is the one that came out in 2025. Ooh, wow. Both good pours, but 2023 still my favorite of that year. That was my favorite that year and still beats out the 2025 just by a nudge. I still recommend, if you can, go find it. They're flying off the shelves. They're one and done every year they come out, and they're harder and harder to get every year. They're becoming more popular. A lot of these are going into their Tanninger as well. So it's just getting harder to get. So if you find one, my friends, go grab it. And if you don't want one for yourselves, I don't mind a backup, grabbing one as well. All right, my friends, thank you for joining me on another journey down my whiskey rabbit hole, my still Austin whiskey rabbit hole. To our next journey, my friends, cheers.